I can't remember what's actually memory versus what's become lore at this point, but I can attest and will attest that this did actually happen, and that it was the day that I realized that I was not a man.
Want to come and sit in the boat, Tom? No?
Let's start by introducing Tom the neighbor. Did you know Tom the neighbor?
Not really. I mean, he was the guy over the fence. I know that we once found a cat in his the skin of a cat in his bush over there, just over the fence there. Yeah.
We might have to edit that.
I know. I'm gonna go ahead and let him fly. You can choose what you want to use. But you don't remember that at all?
No.
Oh yeah.
He's padding, so when you're sitting in the boat or kneeling in the boat,
Hey,
it won't be so bad on you. Plus, I got the light.
did you fix it?
Yeah.
Get a picture of that.
What you got?
Light bulb.
What is it?
It's an anchor light. Goes in that back part. It slips in there, so when you're anchored up, you put the anchor light on it and turn that light on so people know that you're not going anywhere.
Is it on a pole?
Yeah.
Memories of Tom. He was a nice guy,
Uh-huh.
but as you say, he was the guy over the fence. I don't remember him ever crossing the fence. And he had an Australian hat, kind of a big floppy hat before big floppy hats were fashionable. And that's about it.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of stuff in his backyard.
Yeah. Well, he had turkeys.
Turkeys.
And was that his rooster? Because there was that
No,
one.
it was our
that was your rooster.
The one-eyed rooster in the tree at about 3 a.m.
Yeah, and it wasn't a full. Ugh. Yeah. I thought that was Tom's rooster. Okay.
It would have been easier to sleep if it would have fulfilled its cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah.
But the fact that it stopped.
It left you with a question mark at the end. You were wondering.
Is he okay?
Hold that. Slips in there, and this plugs in.
Now, which one's plus and which one's minus?
No matter. Sits in it like that. This should have a white dome on it, so people know you're anchored. So if they're coming up behind you, they know you're not moving. So
I see.
get ready to put on no brakes in the boat, you know. So we just got to slip that in, fire it up, put the screws back in it, and you can anchor.
Yeah, Tom's really, unfortunately, it sounds
not
like
really
he's a great
part of
guy.
the story.
No, it sounds like he's a great guy, and he must have been a great guy. I remember being astounded at the offer, because again, the offer, and we're getting here now. Your dad said, the neighbor said that we could have his turkey while he's out of town. He was out of town?
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
That's good, though.
No, and I thought to myself, wow, turkey. That's a big deal, you know, and if you picture this big frozen block of turkey.
You didn't know turkeys
I didn't know turkeys
had feathers.
and large talons. and your dad, and in retrospect, I can tell 100% he was just having the best time of his life, just watching us crawl.
So how old were we?
I'd have to guess 14.
Okay, I was
Maybe-
hoping we were more like 7 or 8.
No, it was more. It was closer to. I'd say somewhere between 12 and 14.
Okay.
Somewhere between 12 and 14.
It would have to be.
Junior high.
But I was hoping that we were younger.
Yeah, it was junior high.
You got plenty. You got to get in the boat, Tom.
Let me do these. Oh, you're gonna just come there?
We only need one. Look at this. See this, Eric? Is that enough?
It's like working out at the gym.
And your dad saw us, and now that I've got kids of my own, I can totally appreciate what he was doing. It was, man, these kids are bugging the heck out of me. I think I'm going to teach them a lesson, and at the same time, I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it.
See, I think he just wanted us to grow up a little bit.
Well, that's what I mean.
He was
That's
giving
what
us opportunities to grow.
in a nice way, in a way that was fun for him.
Yeah.
And horrifying for me. I can't actually say that I had nightmares, but I can't imagine how I didn't have nightmares from this experience. And have we built it up enough yet? Can we actually get to the body of
the story.
Okay. So he said, the neighbor said we can have his turkey while he's out of town. So what I want you two to do, this is my version of it. This is the best I can remember it, is go over there to the neighbor's house, open the pen, and get the big turkey and bring it on over here.
That was it. That was it.
The full instructions.
The task. Go to the neighbor's house.
Get the turkey.
Get in the turkey coop. Get the turkey and bring it back.
Bring it
that
back.
Was it.
Yeah.
We thought, let's go do it.
Couple 14-year-olds.
Yeah, I've used one of those. I've used them. I used to do a lot of terminations. Used it all day long, and my hand got sore. Do that a couple thousand times.
We had for the temple fund. We had gone out to the chicken farm a bunch of times, and so we were all very familiar with poultry. I could easily carry 4 chickens in this hand and 4 chickens in this hand and pass them down the line for 3 or 4 hours. So it's not like I had never been around a bird, before. And so that was part of what because it does sound a little bit daunting now that you think about it. But in retrospect, it didn't sound daunting at all. It's just
I wasn't daunted.
Well, yeah, you're from you were from Canal Road or whatever there, right?
I'd never done it before, and I
backed
had
up to the canal.
Had no fear.
Yeah, I was a little daunted. So you open up this turkey. You get around to Tom's yard, and whenever you're in a stranger's yard and they're out of town or whatever, you feel a little bit. There's just a little bit of awkwardness there, and so you kind of feel like, oh, should we be here, even though you've got full permission. So that added a sense of tension to the thing, and then we open the pen, and you go in, and at first the turkey wasn't paying much attention to us, and then as he kind of became aware of our designs, he became a little more aggressive, yeah.
Aggressive.
And we stood there for a minute. We stood there for a minute and thought about how this attack was going to happen. And
2 on 1.
2 on 1, for sure. And 2 humans versus 1 turkey. I mean, it wasn't like 2 young men.
We're higher on the food chain.
One would assume.
At the beginning,
we were
higher
on the food chain. Right. So we go in there and we take little kind of initial lunges at the thing, and it becomes readily apparent really quick that neither of us have any idea how we're possibly going to make this turkey thing happen. And I wanted to prove myself to your dad. So I had you wanted to prove yourself to your dad because I probably was your dad, and I wanted to prove myself to your dad because he was your dad, and so, but at that point, all thought of proving ourselves just passed, and we basically went back.
Okay, so
yeah.
So I tried. I figured I would sneak from behind and grab its wings.
Oh.
I figured if I could grab its wings and just bring it back, what's going to happen, So I went behind it and I grabbed its wings and went. I'm not sure if it knocked me on the ground, but I think
it wouldn't have to do much flapping to get you to fall.
Yeah, I didn't weigh much at that time.
And not only that, but you just wouldn't. You wouldn't. I mean, it's not like a bull. You wouldn't ride it to the ground, you know. and I remember the sense of, and this was the hardest thing about it, was the sense of disappointment. Oh man, we're not going to be able to accomplish this mission.
Exactly.
Oh. So we go back over to your dad, and feeling just 2 inches tall, and you say, Dad, we weren't able to get it. And he says, what do you mean? Sorry, I don't mean the impersonation. he still had a very, very laid back, what do you mean? Kind of John Wayne almost kind of a thing. And we said, well, it's too big and scary, and
Yeah.
and he said, what you need to do is go out to the shed and get a piece of rope and make a lasso.
Too much.
These purple ones are pretty small. Looks like it's in there. Want me to grip it? See, that's what I like about these clippers, because
It's the same as these.
yeah, it's a little easier work for me.
And go on over there and get it around the bird's neck, and then just drag the bird over here. And we're thinking, that's genius, because we can do that. I mean, you know, okay, obviously wrestling this bird wasn't going to happen, and just, you know, getting it to follow us like some kind of Pied Piper, that wasn't going to happen. So the lasso seemed like a great idea. So we went about doing that, and we found some rope and made a loop in it, and we went back and we tried for a good, what felt like 10 minutes, was probably 30 or 40 seconds to get this lasso around the neck of the bird, and then realized that really wasn't going to happen either.
We didn't want to hurt it.
No. Why would you want to hurt the poor bird? So we go back around, and again, this time you're feeling even worse, because not only had he told us to do it, you know, asked us to do it, and given us what seemed like a reasonable mission, he then gave us a reasonable way of completing the mission. and so that time we went back, we said, look, we can't do it. And the exact words that I remember, and they may be actually wrong, but it seems the words that have become attached to this story, and that I've echoed to my kids over and over again over the years, is never send a boy to do a man's job. And he grabs the rope out of Eric's hand, and he kind of walks off, not disgusted, but a little annoyed by the fact that we had been so utterly unsuccessful.
Into the sunset to do it himself.
And he was gone for all of maybe 30 seconds. It was not very long. And he comes back with dead turkey.
Got her.
All right, now let's see if it turns on. It's got a switch here that says anchor light.
Anchor away. Is the key on?
Ah,
Yeah, anchor's on.
anchor's on. Anchor's off.
Anchor's off.
Tell me when it's on.
After you're anchored, drop anchors.
Is it off?
Off.
I can't hear you up here.
On. Off. Off, on. She works.
I love turkey, by the way. I am not a vegetarian. It's not one of these animal love story things. I just need somebody else to kill my meat for me, and then cut it up into little bits. I could easily carry 4 chickens in this hand and 4 chickens in this hand and pass them down the line for 3 or 4 hours. I could easily carry 4 chickens in this hand and 4 chickens in this hand and pass them down the line for 3 or 4 hours.